Prince. Born Prince Rogers Nelson on June 7, 1958, was an American singer, songwriter, musician, and actor. Regarded as one of the greatest musicians of his generation, he was known for his flamboyant, androgynous persona, wide vocal range, which included a far-reaching falsetto and high-pitched screams, as well as his skill as a multi-instrumentalist, often preferring to play all or most of the instruments on his recordings. Some people say he dressed like a vampire or like he's from Gotham City. Some say he may have had sugar in his shoes. But here's what I can say. I seen Prince in person and he had a group of supermodel women kissing on him and doing his hair. So he dressed like everyone from his time to me. Charlie Murphy tells of a time where Prince and his gang beat him and his homies on the basketball court. He transcended musical genres, blending and incorporated a wide variety of styles including funk, R&B, rock, new wave, soul, synth-pop, pop, jazz, blues, and hip-hop into a sound uniquely of his own. Prince produced his albums himself, pioneering the Minneapolis sound. Born and raised in Minneapolis, Prince signed a record deal with Warner Brothers Records at the age of 18, soon releasing the studio albums For You, 1978, and Prince, 1979. Now, keep in mind about Warner Brothers, they're going to come back up. Warner Brothers is an American entertainment company that produces movies, TV shows, and video games. It's one of the biggest film studios in the United States corporation. Founded in 1923 by brothers Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack Warner. Started as a traveling movie show in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Moved to Hollywood in 1917 and established Warner Brothers Pictures, Inc. In 1923 became a subsidiary of Time Warner in 1990. Headquartered in Burbank, California. Part of Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD, a global media company that also includes HBO, CNN, and Discovery Channel, includes Warner Brothers Pictures, New Line Cinema, DC Studios, and Castle Rock Entertainment. Keep in mind Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack Warner were all Freemason and Jack was a part of the Shriners of the Sahib Order. Prince went on to achieve critical success with the influential albums Dirty Mind, 1980, Controversy, 1981, and 1999, 1982. In 1984, Prince became the first singer to simultaneously have a #1 film, album, and single in the US, with the film Purple Rain, its soundtrack, and his first Billboard Hot 100 chart-topping single When Doves Cry. The album, recorded with his new backing band The Revolution, spent 6 consecutive months atop the US Billboard 200 chart and won the Academy Award for Best Original Song Score. The movie grossed $70.3 million worldwide, and it has been regarded as one of the greatest musical films. After disbanding The Revolution, Prince released the album Sign of the Times, 1987, widely hailed by critics as the greatest work of his career. From his breakout album 1999 to the iconic Purple Rain, Prince's music became the soundtrack of a generation. His flamboyant style, electrifying performances, and undeniable charisma made him a global superstar. He challenged social norms, pushing boundaries with his androgynous appearance and provocative lyrics. Prince's impact on the music industry is immeasurable. But behind the dazzling stage presence and the chart-topping hits, there was a battle raging. Keep in mind this is about control and money. If one word could sum it up, it would be greed. Prince had a large amount of unreleased music, including albums, songs, and music videos. Estimates of the number of unreleased songs could range up to 7,000. Some say there are enough songs in Prince's vault to release a new 12-song album every year for 100 years. Others estimate there are 100 albums worth of songs in the vault. Prince released hundreds of songs under his own name and pseudonyms. He also wrote songs that other artists recorded. Some unreleased songs include 18, Are You Legal Yet?, 20, A Girl and Her Puppy, 21 Guns, and 40 Ounces. Prince had over 50 fully produced music videos that were never released. Prince's demo albums Piano and a Microphone 1983-2018 and Originals 2019 were released posthumously. During his lifetime, Prince amassed a fortune estimated at more than $300 million. Many believe that the increase in value of Prince's estate following his tragic death on April 21, 2016, might prove to be even more lucrative for his heirs, or someone who was planning to take him out. Who got and gave the pills to Prince? Who switches out his normal medication? How much was his life insurance? How much was those unreleased albums worth? Did Warner Brothers want Prince's unreleased music? In the world of music, masters are the heart of an artist's creation. In music, masters refers to the original recording of a song or album. It's the primary source for all copies, streams, and licenses of the music. I remember a guy named John Todd said that. The major record labels do witchcraft over the albums they release. I know, sound crazy, right? Owning the masters gives artists full control over how their music is used, distributed, and monetized. Owning the masters can be a good investment in future royalties. The master recording is the most authentic version of the song. Artists may own their own masters, or they may share ownership with record labels and producers. Record labels often retain the rights to master recordings in exchange for royalties. The copyright owner can license the master recording to third parties, such as TV shows, films, and commercials. The copyright owner can reissue or remix the original recording. The copyright owner can profit from the publication or streaming of the songs. What are the different types of master use license agreements? Exclusive, non-exclusive, and compulsory. Owning music publishing rights means having the legal right to collect royalties for a song's composition. This includes the melody, lyrics, and structure of the song. A music publisher manages the composition rights and collects royalties. The publisher splits the royalties with the songwriter based on an agreement. The publisher also creates licensing agreements and seeks out placements for the song. The sound recording of a song is called the master rights. The master rights are usually owned by the person or entity that funded the recording, such as a record label, studio, or artist. All songwriters receive composition credit and an equal share of the composition royalties. It's important to agree on splits and ownership in advance to avoid future legal problems. A split sheet is a document that outlines each contributor's percentage of ownership in a song. Music publishing can be a lucrative revenue stream for independent artists. For Prince, owning his masters was about control over his art, his legacy, his destiny. He famously clashed with Warner Brothers, changing his name to an unpronounceable symbol as a bold statement. Prince's fight for his masters was a fight for all artists, inspiring them to demand better terms and fight for their own creative freedom. But his journey was far from over. Prince wanted to own his masters so he could have complete control over his music and release it on his own terms. He famously said, "If you don't own your masters, then your masters own you." Prince wanted to release music whenever he felt inspired, not on a schedule dictated by the label. He thought it was unfair that the label could recoup its costs and still own the artist's work. He also made a statement about identity by writing the word "slave" on his face. Prince tried to buy his masters back from Warner Brothers after signing a new contract in 1992, but they wouldn't allow it. On the 22nd of December 1995, Prince issued a press release from Paisley Park, announcing his desire to terminate his contract with Warner Music due to his frustration at being denied ownership of his master recordings. His trailblazing action served as an inspiration for many artists who followed, most notably Taylor Swift. He left Warner Brothers when his contract ended in 1996. In 2014, he re-signed with Warner Brothers and gained ownership of all the recordings he made with them. Prince's struggles with the music industry can teach artists today to be careful of contract deals and major record labels. He felt that he no longer had control over his songs. Prince wanted to release them on his own terms. He kind of very famously said that if you don't own your masters, then your masters own you, said writer and tech entrepreneur Anil Dash, who's written about Prince. It means he owns the rights to them now. I mean, it's pretty simple. He owns his work, flat out. Master tapes, master whatever, they're his. It's a bit like Picasso only owning prints of his paintings, and not the original painting when he pug-brushed a canvas. But now he'd own the painting again. Prince, and many artists, were basically renting their own work, through shitty record contracts. The company always works in its own favor. Berry Gordy was infamous for designing contracts, so no matter how much money an artist pulled in, or how many records they sold, they would still be in the red to Motown. They were never in the clear in owning money. As you know, artists eventually pay for everything. Promotion, studio time, musicians, producers, etc. All that gets taken out of their profits before they see a dime. It's why so many artists get huge sponsors for tours. It's a hefty cost, and a company offsetting that in exchange for massive promotion works out for everyone. Prince started getting his masters back, meaning copyright reverted to the original artist, 35 years after its release. It's the law, at least for music recordings. That means in 2013, he got his music rights back. This means that according to US copyright law, an artist can reclaim the copyright to their work, allowing them to control its usage again 35 years after the initial publication date, provided the work was not considered work for hire, and they follow the proper legal procedures to terminate the original transfer of rights. The artist typically has a window of 35 years after the initial transfer of copyright to initiate the process of reclaiming their rights. This right does not apply to works considered work for hire, where the employer is usually considered the copyright holder. To reclaim copyright, the artist must provide proper legal notice to the current copyright holder within a specified time frame, usually a couple of years before the 35-year mark. Under U.S. copyright law, any transfer or license of copyright can be terminated 35 years after the transfer or license was made, or in some cases, 35 years after the work was published, so long as the work was not made for hire. Now you're starting to put it together. Why Prince's pain pills were switched out with fentanyl. You think if he knew they were fentanyl instead of pain pills, he would have taken 2 of them or any? Some people say he was hit with a hot shot on the elevator. Most artists get a 360 deal. A 360 deal is a contract between a music artist and a record label that gives the label a percentage of the artist's revenue. The term 360 inches refers to the all-encompassing nature of the agreement. The label provides financial support to the artist, including advances, marketing, and promotion. The artist gives the label a percentage of their revenue from a variety of sources. These sources include digital and online streaming, live performances, merchandise sales, endorsement deals, songwriting, royalties, publishing royalties, book and movie deals, ringtones. 360 deals are common for developing artists because they allow labels to recoup their investment in an artist. The labels spend money on developing the artist, promoting concerts and other areas. Before signing a 360 deal, artists should consult with an experienced lawyer to ensure they're getting a fair deal. Ray Charles had one of the best music deals of his time because he secured a high level of creative control and ownership over his master recordings, particularly when he moved to ABC Paramount Records, allowing him to produce his own music, choose the songs he recorded, and significantly benefit from the royalties of his hit songs like Georgia on My Mind. A rare level of autonomy for an artist at the time, especially a black artist. Unlike many artists, Charles had significant creative control over his music, allowing him to experiment with genres and produce albums that aligned with his vision. A crucial aspect of his deal was the ownership of his master recordings, meaning he received a larger share of the profits from his music sales. By moving to ABC, Charles was able to leverage his talent to cross over into different genres like country music, further expanding his audience and earning potential. Charles was known for being savvy about his business dealings, negotiating favorable terms and ensuring he was fairly compensated for his music. On April 21, 2016, the world was shocked by the news. Prince was gone at 57. The official cause of death was an accidental overdose of fentanyl, a powerful opioid. Someone close to him switched out his normal dose just like they did Rich Homie Quan. Rich Homie Quan died from accidental drug overdose involving fentanyl and codeine. The rapper was killed by the combined toxic effects of fentanyl, alprazolam, codeine, and promethazine. According to a Georgia medical examiner, Prince was taken out for his music catalog. They say he was sick with the flu, but he was riding his bike in the park a day or two before. Who do you know with the flu takes a ride in cold Minnesota? Okay, so the story just doesn't add up. Prince was took out. They found him in the elevator gasping for air. I think the problem that he made was when in 2014, he went back to the table to negotiate with Warner Brothers. They wanted to remaster Purple Rain for the 20 or 30-year anniversary album first of all. Who calls you up and say, "We want to give you back your masters"? That's a red flag there. Prince was fighting for his masters his whole career. And now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, you want to give him back his masters. Once they got back into Prince's pocket, they want the unreleased tracks and videos. Prince had enough unpublished material. He could release an album a year for the next 100 years like we said. They didn't give a damn about the Purple Rain song. They want the unpublished material because that stuff is ultimately worth billions. With Prince gone, you gotta understand, Princess fans are like no other fans, so you're getting your hands on a dead artist unpublished material, which is a jackpot. He was taken out for unpublished material. Prince's sudden passing sent shockwaves through the music industry and beyond. Some believe he faked his death just like Tupac, giving off the Machiavelli effect. In the wake of his death, Prince's music experienced a resurgence in popularity, a testament to his enduring influence. And as the world mourned, a new chapter began, with his music at the center of a battle for ownership and legacy. Prince's struggle with Warner Brothers was a clash of ideologies. In 1993, he changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol, a protest against the label's control. The symbol, a blend of the male and female symbols, represented his refusal to be confined by industry norms. This act of defiance sent shockwaves through the music industry. It was a bold declaration that Prince was more than just a name. He was an idea, an energy, a force that could not be contained. Prince's fight for his masters extended beyond symbolic gestures. He became a vocal advocate for artists' rights, challenging Warner Brothers at every turn. He famously delivered the Black Album directly to his fans, bypassing traditional record label channels. Prince's willingness to speak truth to power resonated with many artists who felt similarly exploited. He became a symbol of resistance, a champion for artistic independence. Prince's fight for his masters came at a cost. His public battles and unconventional release strategies alienated some within the industry. But for Prince, the price of freedom was one he was willing to pay. His unwavering commitment to his principles inspired a generation of artists to fight for their own creative freedom. Prince's journey to reclaim his masters was a testament to his belief in the power of art and the right of creators to own their work. The news of Prince's death sent shockwaves across the globe. Fans gathered in mourning, creating makeshift memorials at Paisley Park. The official cause of death, an accidental fentanyl overdose, only deepened the mystery. The lack of a will fueled speculation and what really happened. The void left by his sudden passing was filled with unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. Prince's death cast a harsh spotlight on the opioid crisis. Fentanyl, the drug that claimed his life, had been ravaging communities across America. Was it switched out with fentanyl? His death sparked conversations about the overprescription of painkillers and the lack of access to addiction treatment. Lawmakers pointed to Prince's case as a wake-up call for increased funding for addiction prevention. Prince's death humanized the opioid crisis, putting a face to the countless lives lost. The absence of a will threw Prince's estate into legal limbo. His vast fortune, including his music catalog and Paisley Park, became the subject of a protracted legal battle. Lawyers scrutinized contracts and assessed the value of his intellectual property. Record labels and streaming services circled the estate, eager to capitalize on his music. The fate of his life's work hung in the balance, a testament to the complexities of fame and artistic control. As the music industry grappled with Prince's estate, Jay-Z emerged, recognizing the value of Prince's catalog. Prince had signed a deal with Tidal to exclusively release his music on the platform. Jay-Z's interest in Prince's music stemmed from a deep respect for the artist's legacy. Both artists had battled with major labels and championed the rights of creators. Jay-Z's pursuit of Prince's music became a high-stakes game, balancing business interests with honoring Prince's legacy. Rumors swirled about Jay-Z's intentions with Prince's music. Reports of a $40 million offer highlighted the intense speculation surrounding the artist's catalog. Jay-Z focused on securing the exclusive streaming rights, leveraging Tidal's existing deal with Prince. Prince's estate faced pressure from various sides, with some favoring deals with major labels and others advocating for preserving the artist's vision. The battle for control of Prince's music became a microcosm of the larger struggle between artistic integrity and commercial interests. The battle over Prince's music was a cultural moment, a referendum on artistic legacy in the digital age. Prince was a fierce advocate for artists' rights, battling an exploitative industry. His fight for control of his masters and his symbolic name change cemented his status as a champion for creative freedom. If a corporate entity gained control of Prince's catalog, it would be a posthumous defeat for him. If Prince's estate maintained control, it would set a powerful precedent for artists' rights. It would show that an artist's legacy could be protected and their voice preserved. It was a battle for the very soul of music itself. Prince's death, while a tragic loss, created a morbid kind of gold rush within the music industry. His vast catalog of unreleased music, rumored to contain thousands of songs, demos, and even full albums, became a holy grail for record labels, publishers, and streaming services. The potential for profit was enormous, and everyone wanted a piece of the action. Adding to the frenzy was the fact that Prince, notoriously meticulous about his work, had kept tight control over his music during his lifetime. This meant that much of what he had created remained unheard by the public, making the prospect of acquiring and releasing this hidden treasure trove even more enticing. The auctioning off of Prince's legacy, however, left a bitter taste in the mouths of many fans and artists alike. It felt disrespectful, even exploitative, to see his life's work treated as a commodity to be bought and sold to the highest bidder. The very corporations that Prince had battled against during his lifetime were now lining up to profit from his death, a cruel irony not lost on those who admired his independent spirit and artistic integrity. Amidst this feeding frenzy, a moral dilemma emerged. Was it possible to honor Prince's legacy while simultaneously profiting from his death? Could the commercialization of his music coexist with the preservation of his artistic vision? These were questions with no easy answers, questions that cut to the heart of the uneasy relationship between art and commerce. A kingdom divided, the estate's struggle for cohesion. The absence of a will created a legal quagmire for Prince's estate. His heirs, half-siblings with varying closeness, faced legal battles and emotional turmoil. The estate had to balance competing interests and interpretations of Prince's wishes. Some favored lucrative deals, prioritizing financial gain. Others advocated for artistic control and legacy preservation. This struggle highlighted the tension between vision and commercial potential. Outside parties with their own agendas circled the estate, offering advice. Prince's estate was settled in August 2022 after a 6-year court battle. The estate was divided among Prince's 6 surviving siblings, their families, advisors, and Primary Wave, a music publishing company. Prince's estate was divided equally among his full sister Tyka Nelson and his 5 half-siblings, Sharon, Noreen, John, and Alfred Nelson, and Omar Baker. 3 of the siblings sold their shares to Primary Wave. The settlement included cash, music rights, and other assets. Comerica Bank and Trust received $3 million to cover the costs of closing the estate. The remaining assets were split between Prince Oat Holdings LLC and Prince Legacy LLC. I wonder what Warner Brothers' cut was. Or did they make a deal for the masters of the unpublished work? Prince died without a will or an estate plan. Many people claimed to be heirs, and his siblings had to deal with legal complications and pay millions of dollars they didn't have. Prince's defiant stand against the music industry did not end with his death. His actions inspired a new generation of artists to demand greater control over their art. His name became a rallying cry for artists' rights. Taylor Swift famously battled her former label over her masters, re-recording her first 6 albums to regain control. Kanye West has been a vocal advocate for artists owning their masters. He launched his own platform to give creators more control. Prince's influence extended beyond individual artists. His fight helped ignite a broader conversation about artists' rights and intellectual property. While Prince's legacy continues to inspire change, the battle for artistic control is far from over. The music industry, like any other business, is constantly evolving, presenting new challenges and opportunities for artists navigating the complexities of ownership, distribution, and creative freedom. The rise of streaming, while offering unprecedented access to music for consumers, has also created new challenges for artists seeking to earn a fair living from their work. The complexities of music publishing, licensing, and copyright law can be daunting for even the most savvy musician, making it essential for artists to educate themselves and seek legal counsel to protect their interests. Despite these challenges, there is a growing sense of optimism within the music industry. Artists, empowered by technology and inspired by those who came before them, are finding new ways to connect with their audiences, control their narratives, and build sustainable careers on their own terms. Independent labels, artist-owned platforms, and innovative distribution models are emerging, offering alternatives to the traditional industry structures that Prince once challenged. The fight for artistic control is an ongoing symphony, a complex and ever-evolving composition. Prince's legacy serves as a powerful reminder that true artistic freedom requires vigilance, courage, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. It is a reminder that the fight for ownership is not just about money, but about preserving the integrity of art, empowering creators, and ensuring that music remains a force for good in the world. Prince's life was a testament to the power of artistic vision. He was a musical chameleon, shifting effortlessly between genres, blending funk, rock, pop, and soul into a sound that was uniquely his own. His music transcended boundaries, captivating audiences worldwide with its raw energy, infectious grooves, and undeniable soul. But Prince was more than just a musician, he was a revolutionary. He challenged the music industry's status quo, demanding control over his art, his image, and his legacy. His fight for his masters was a fight for all artists, a declaration that creative freedom should not come at the cost of ownership. His battle, waged both publicly and behind closed doors, was a harbinger of things to come. The music industry, slow to adapt to the digital revolution, found itself grappling with new realities. The rise of streaming, while offering unprecedented access to music for consumers, also disrupted traditional power structures, forcing labels and artists alike to rethink their roles and relationships. Prince, always ahead of his time, had recognized the potential of streaming, striking deals that gave him greater control over his music. His vision, once seen as radical, has become increasingly prophetic in the years since his passing. Artists, empowered by technology and inspired by his example, are finding new ways to connect with their audiences, control their narratives, and build sustainable careers on their own terms. Prince's legacy is multifaceted and enduring. He left behind a treasure trove of music, both released and unreleased, a testament to his boundless creativity. He inspired countless artists to embrace their individuality, push boundaries, and fight for their rights. And he forever changed the conversation about artistic ownership in the music industry. His impact can be felt in the artists who now routinely demand control over their masters, in the rise of independent labels and artist-owned platforms, and in the growing awareness of the value of intellectual property in the digital age. But Prince's greatest legacy may be the spirit of creative freedom that he embodied. He taught us that art knows no bounds, that true creativity requires taking risks, and that the fight for ownership is ultimately a fight for artistic integrity. His music continues to inspire, to move, to challenge. It reminds us that even in the face of adversity, even in death, the power of art endures. Prince's purple reign may be over, but his music, his message, his spirit will continue to resonate for generations to come. His is a legacy that will forever be etched in the annals of music history, a shining example of what it means to be a true artist, a visionary, a revolutionary.